One of the most beautiful spectacles in sports is the consummate grace of an expert skier. Watch. If anything like this has ever happened to you, you may already be a statistic in the files of our first guest on To Tell the Truth. What is your name, please?
My name is James Garrick.
My name is James Garrick.
My name is James Garrick.
Only one of these gentlemen is the real James Garrick. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle on To Tell the Truth. Brought to you tonight by General Foods, makers of new complete Jell-O cheesecake mix and Log Cabin. And now, here's our host on To Tell the Truth, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Good evening, panel. Now, open your envelope, if you will, and follow along with me on this first spot. I, Dr. James Garrick, am the Director of National Ski Safety Research. A skier myself, I have devoted a major part of my time for the past few years to trying to help clear up confusion that surrounds the causes of skiing accidents and injuries. The accident rate in skiing is already low, considering it is such a physically demanding sport. It is our objective to lower the accident rate further by finding the answers to such questions as, who has the most serious accidents? What time of day do most skiing accidents happen? How do snow conditions affect chances of injury? How important is the proper equipment? And what age group sustains the most accidents? As a result of this exhaustive study, we hope to raise the safety level of this country's skiers who by 1970 will number over 3 million. Signed, Dr. James Garrick. Panel, these three gentlemen all claim to be Dr. James Garrick. Let's start the questioning with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, what's a sitz mark?
A hole made in the snow by a falling skier.
Yeah, I've made a few of those in my day. Number 2, when I speak about ski, when I say javelins, what do I mean in relation to skiing?
I don't know.
Okay. Number 1, what does it mean to shoosh?
That means you go right straight down the hill.
Yes. And number 3, are accidents ever caused by wild skis?
Yes.
Is that a major cause of accidents? That's when you lose one ski and it goes down the hill without you.
No.
No. Number 2, what time of day are the most accidents?
Usually in the afternoon.
Thank you. Number 1, at what time of day do the ski patrols sweep the trails?
Well, usually in the morning before the skiing starts and at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Orson Bean.
Number 2, is artificial snow any good to ski on?
Oh, yes, it's the same as regular snow. It is regular snow.
It is. And do they add it to the existing snow, or could you make a whole mountain of artificial snow, a small
They
one?
can make a whole mountain of artificial snow or add to it.
Number 3, my Uncle Farnsworth, the poor boob, almost killed himself last year up at Laconia when he went off the ski jump on a shovel. You don't have things like that marked down in your statistics.
No.
Freak thing. Oh, well, here's a yuck. Number 1, now, what about these jokers who go to a ski resort with a fake broken leg in their suitcase, slap it on and go down and sit and drink rum all night? Do you ever have any of those where you go to do your
Pretty
research?
safe way to do it.
Do people do that?
A few do.
If a guy got pretty well into the demon rum, how would that... Oh, it would have been a poor question.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 3, we had a gentleman on who was apparently the father of the Ski Rescue Patrol. Do you know his name? The inventor of this whole operation?
Mr. Dole.
Do you agree with that, number 2?
Minnie Dole, yes.
Number 1, it says here that there is one age group that gets hurt more often than another. What is that age group?
Well, our studies are not quite conclusive yet, but generally speaking, it is the younger group.
Oh, no, I shouldn't say that. In other words, number 3, you think it's perfectly safe for middle-aged people to ski?
Yes.
That's very important to know. Number 2, what do the snow conditions have to do with injuries?
Well, icy conditions would mean a little more control is needed.
Number 2, do you think, for instance, that getting to an accident fast helps to avoid further problems, like the ski patrol?
For the ski patrol, it's better to get to the accident quickly, but not for the victim.
Why? Number 1, why is that? Oh.
What do you mean the victim shouldn't incur the accident too quickly? Tom Poston.
Number 3, what percentage of accidents are caused during après-ski? Number 3, do you have any incidents? Well, a lot of people go to those places and don't ski too much and don't get hurt, but they come home banged up because of the après-ski.
I'm not staying on this panel anymore.
Is that true, number 3?
It may be true.
All right, number 2, suppose somebody does, as Orson says, have a bout with demon rum, and he's a little loose and flowing out there on the slopes. Is it true that if you fall down under the stimulus of alcohol that you don't get hurt as badly as if you weren't?
Well, you might be in a more relaxed state, but I don't think it would be a very healthy idea.
No, I don't either.
That's all we have time for. It's time now to mark your ballot. So please vote at once, if you will, panel, without any consultation, and of course without changing your ballot once you have marked it. Vote now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will, of course, receive $250 for each incorrect vote. Your ballots all marked? Tom, for whom did you vote?
Oh, I voted for number 3. I didn't ask questions because I'd already made up my mind to vote for number 3 before. Number 1 said that they swept the snow at the morning before skiing started and in the day after skiing stopped. Well, that's silly. That's both doing the same thing. And number 2 didn't know what javelins were, so I voted for number 3.
Do you know what they are?
Oh, sure.
Yes. I didn't vote for
Peggy.
them because I have a pair of javelins. They're skis. I voted for number 1, though, because I do think that they sweep the trail at the end of the day. And I think they do it in the morning, too, because one of those people had a little après-ski, might have staggered up there.
Orson.
In the morning, there's an extra snowman out there. I voted for number 2, even though we didn't know what javelins are, because I figured that it was some dummy thing, and,
Kitty Carlisle.
I didn't know what javelins were, but I voted for number 3 because he looks like he's a kind of a doctor who's interested in skiing.
Very well, the votes are all in and the minds are made up, as you heard them. Now let's find out which of these 3 gentlemen, in truth, is Dr. James Garrick. Will the real Dr. James Garrick please stand up? Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Norman Whiteman. I'm a commercial photographer.
And number 2, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Robert Reese. I'm president of Reese and Empire Labels. We make garment labels.
Thank you, gentlemen. In checking the score, we find you did pretty well. There were 2 incorrect votes at $250 each. Grand total, therefore, $500. Thank you for being with us and hope you had as much fun as you gave us. Good night, and God bless you. We'll meet our next team of challengers in just a minute, right after this message. And now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Robin Block. My name is Robin Block. My name is Robin Block.
Please follow along again, panel, if you will. I, Robin Block, am the 1966 National Wild Turkey Calling Champion. The contest has been held every fall for the last 21 years and takes place, appropriately enough, in Yellville, Arkansas. My winning call included the Lost Gobbler, the Putt, and some quavers. The judges voted with their backs to the contestants, so it gave them quite a shock when they turned around and discovered that they had awarded the first prize to an 11-year-old girl. I got a shock, too. Part of my prize was a pair of size 10 boots and a pair of men's hunting pants. I also won this trophy that I can hardly lift. By the way, I won the title by beating a field of 22 veteran turkey callers, including the 1965 champion, my own father. Signed, Robin Block. Panel, these three young ladies all claim to be Robin Block. Let's start the cross-examination with Orson Bean. Orson?
Thank you. Well, number 3, after the show, I'll do my macaw impressions for you. I do a very big series of macaws, cockatoos, and some of the more exotic birds of South America, plus a few. Number 3, what's the practical usage of this? Is it for hunting?
Yes, it calls the turkey over to you.
Number 1, have you ever gone hunting and used your ability to do this?
Yes, I have.
Did you ever bag any turkeys?
No.
Yeah, it's a rotten trick to play. You get the poor thing over there, he thinks it's your buddy, and...
Kitty.
Number 2, does the name of the town have anything to do with the turkey calling competition?
No, ma'am.
It's just a coincidence.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 1, did your father know you were going to compete?
Yes, he did.
Oh, he did, but he didn't know you were going to win.
No.
Number 3, are there other calls that you know except the gobbler and the quavers?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the names of some?
The Kiki Run.
The what?
The Kiki Run.
The Kiki Run? What does that mean?
It's to get the turkey over near the,
And what, too, do you know any other names?
The Yell, the Whine, the Lost Gobbler Call.
Uh-huh. I like the Kiki Run the best.
Tom Poston.
Number 1, what's the state animal of Arkansas?
I don't know.
You know what I mean, like the prairie wolf of the Oregon and so forth. I don't know what I'm talking about either. Number 2, what is a waddle?
It's like it's red. I
Don't point to anybody on the panel. Thank you. Number 3, are dogs ever used to hunt turkeys?
No, I don't think so.
So you have to get them close to you in person, right? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Number 1, do you know any duck calls or any other animal calls?
Yes, I do.
Peggy Cass.
Number 2, what color is a wild turkey?
It's many different colors, like they're blue, the head's blue, and sometimes green.
They sound pretty.
They are.
Number 3, are they good to eat? Wild
Yes.
turkeys good to eat?
Well, not really.
Then what do you call them for?
Just for the sport.
Oh, I see. Number 1, do you have any, like, little whistle or anything, or do you do it all with your own voice?
I do it all with my own voice.
Number 2, why would a turkey come when you whine? I mean, actually, you've got to drive the turkey right away to the other side of the meadow.
Because, it's just a call, and it just comes, like with a...
That's all we have time for. It's time for you now to mark your ballots, as usual, without any consultation, and don't change once you have marked. Vote now, if you will, panel, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Ballots all marked? All right, Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I loved number 3's candor. She knew that you don't hunt turkeys with dogs, and she knew they don't taste all that good, although they must have tasted pretty good to the Pilgrim Fathers. And I think she might have known the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Peggy.
Well, I voted for 2 because she has a good reason for calling the turkey. She's crazy about them. She thinks they're pretty. So I voted for her.
Orson Bean.
Well, I thought it was sweet that number 2, sweet young thing that just doesn't know why the turkeys come when they hear that sound. Still, I voted for 3 because I felt that she has a little bit of a trace of an accent. I'm not sure what that is.
I'm not either, so I won't ask. Kitty Carlisle.
I voted for number 1 because I have the feeling that the other 2 have light, clear 11, 12-year-old voices, and number 1 has already a much deeper voice, and she can make all these different sounds that would attract the turkeys.
Turkeys have high voices.
They do?
Sure.
Why didn't you tell me so?
I was out with one the other night.
Well, there we have it, and the vote's all in, and the mind's made up once again. Now let's find out which one of these 3 young ladies, in truth, is Robin Block. Will the real Robin Block please stand up? We never had a wild turkey caller on to tell the truth before. Would you give us a sample of some of the calls?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now, number 2. What is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Jan Jones, and I'm a sixth grader at Tamaqua School in Westfield, New Jersey.
And number 3. What is your real name and what do you
My
do?
name is Cheryl Clark, and I'm a seventh grader in Summit Junior High School in Summit, New Jersey.
Well, young ladies, you did very well indeed. Checking the score, we find there were 3 incorrect votes at $250 each. That's a total of $750. And we thank you very much for being with us. Goodbye, and God bless you. We'll be back with our next team and play another game in a minute. But now listen to this. And now let's have our third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is John Waters.
My name is John Waters.
My name is John Waters.
Please follow along once again with this one, if you will, panel. I, John Waters, am Chief of the Search and Rescue Division headquarters of the United States Coast Guard. Search and rescue is the Coast Guard's primary mission, and over the years I have personally participated on board aircraft and ships in more than 400 rescues and have directed several thousand such operations. In 1966 alone, Coast Guard cutters, aircraft, and boats were instrumental in saving over 5,000 lives, helping some 100,000 other people in trouble on the water, and giving aid and assistance to ships and aircraft with an estimated value of some $2 billion. I have written a recently published book, which is an account of shipwrecks, ditched airplanes, and other marine accidents, which have made headlines in recent years. I call my book Rescue at Sea, signed John Waters. Panel, these 3 gentlemen all claim to be, as you heard, John Waters. We'll start with Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you, Bud. Sir, whoever you are, my heartiest congratulations, and I love you dearly. Number 3, what is barratry?
Barratry is the purposeful destroying of cargo.
Do you agree with that, number 2?
I do.
Number 1, when a ship is in trouble, how does it know whether it has to give other ships the idea that it's in trouble, to get the right of way, to get into port quickly?
Well, the Coast Guard directs this operation once the Mayday signal's been given.
I see.
And we'll see that they're cleared to go in.
Number 2, do you deal with fire at sea ever?
Oh, yes, often.
And how do you deal with that? Do you have fire boats that come with all kinds of equipment?
Our ships have firefighting equipment, and when they arrive at the scene, they will help fight the fire.
Thank you.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Do you have, number 3, do you have other than sea duty? Is there land duty connected with the Coast Guard service?
Well, if you call being on land, assigned to land, going from the land to the sea, that's land duty.
Of course. Number 2, when was the Coast Guard actually founded or actually commissioned?
1790.
Thank you. Number 1, what did the Coast Guard do during the last war? Say, what would it be obliged to do during the war, besides this rescue?
Well, during the war, the Coast Guard is amalgamated into the Navy and serves wherever we're sent.
Thank you.
Peggy Cass.
Number 2, does the Coast Guard have any ships in Vietnam?
Yes, we do.
Uh-huh. Thank you. Number 3, what's the slogan of the Coast Guard?
Semper Paratus.
Thank you. Number 1, does the Coast Guard put out the small craft warnings?
Yes.
Thank you. Number 2, where is Nauset Light?
I don't know.
Oh, well, the number 3, does the Coast Guard man the lighthouses? Is that part of the Coast Guard stuff?
That's part of the Coast Guard.
Uh-huh. Number 1, you don't remember that collision about 6 months ago in New York Harbor between the 2 ships?
Yes.
Did the Coast Guard did the Coast Guard handle that collision? I mean, not that you planned it, but I mean, did you go in and
Yes.
did you go to the rescue?
Yes, indeed. Coast Guard.
Orson Bean.
Number one, I'm fascinated. I should have known that, but it never occurred to me that during a war, the Coast Guard is automatically taken over by the Navy.
Assigned to the Navy, yes.
Assigned to the Navy, yeah. I see. That's different, right? I hear the raucous guffaw of one of our producers. I don't know, some private joke for that. Number two, is there a Coast Guard station on Fire Island?
Yes, we have a station on Fire Island.
Oh, yeah. How do the boys stay there year-round, do they?
Yes.
What?
I think they do.
Yeah, all right. That's right, yeah. Suppose it was a small boat on the way from England and it sent out SOSs or Maydays. How fast would it take you fellas to get into operation to try and find it?
We can have craft moving within 30 minutes.
How far would you go?
That's all the time we have. We may not ever find out how far we would go, but mark your ballots. You can go that far, certainly. Mark them at once, without change, and, of course, without any consultation. Vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3.
Very tough. Very tough.
Ballots all marked. Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
Beautifully knowledgeable fibbers with us this evening, in all counts, but this one was particularly tough. I voted for number 3 because he had a look of great calm about all the questions, and I figured he would know how to answer them.
Peggy.
Well, I voted for number 1 because there's a Coast Guard station at Nauset Light. It's on Cape Cod. I figure a Coast Guard person should know that. And number 3, I don't know what barratry is, but I don't think Kitty thought it was what you thought it was, so that's why I voted for 1.
Orson Bean.
What, Kitty knows more than some liar up there? I voted for number 3 because I think he looks like one of those fellas in those old Wallace Beery pictures about the Coast Guard around in the afternoon.
And Kitty.
Well, I voted for number 3, Peggy. I'm sorry, but I didn't think barratry was the deliberate destroying of cargo. I thought it had something to do with the law of the sea.
No,
But you answered with such an air of assurance, and you looked so much like John Waters, who's chief of the Rescue Division of Headquarters of the United States Coast Guard, that I voted for you.
You're casting again. Well, that's it. The votes have all been cast and the minds are made up as you heard. Let's find out now. Which of these 3 gentlemen, in truth, is John Waters? Will the real Captain John Waters please stand up?
For number 3.
Thank you, sir, very much, and we congratulate you on the job that you're doing. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
I'm Arthur Taylor, and I manage tailors, men's and women's clothing in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.
Thank you, sir. And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
I am Cliff Malloy. I'm the owner and operator of Malloy's Liquor Shop in Roslyn, Long Island.
We find we came to one of those rare times when you skunked the panel. You beat them all the way. There were 4 incorrect votes. 4 times $250, $1,000, gentlemen, and thank you very much for being with us. Goodbye, and God bless you. We'll be back in a minute, but now this important message. Stay tuned now, for I've got a secret. Good night, panel. See you next week. See you next week and tomorrow. In the meantime, don't you forget to tell the truth. Bye.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Miss Carlisle's Best by Bill Black. This is Johnny Olsen speaking. Tonight's program pre-recorded. To Tell the Truth was brought to you tonight by Tegren, the new medicated formula for psoriasis sufferers that gives 3-way relief for the symptoms of psoriasis.
This week's CBS Friday Night Movies brings you the stirring wartime exploits of John F. Kennedy in PT-109. The cameras and experts of CBS Sports brought you the best in football, NFL football, all season long. Now join them as they bring you the Super Bowl, Green Bay versus Kansas City, Super Sunday.